Nainesh Kotak, founder of Kotak Personal Injury Law, is going to join me coming up on the iHeartRadio Talk Network. Insurance premiums have increased 12.2% nationally compared to this time last year. Why is that? I mean, I thought we were paying prohibitively high rates to start with, and that was a number of years ago, not just last year. The founder of Kotak Personal Injury Law, Nainesh Kotak, joins me now. Good morning.
Good morning, Jerry. Thanks for having me.
That's an unbelievable increase. How does the insurance industry justify this?
Shamelessly. They justify it very shamelessly. You know, you can't make this stuff up. You've got over 12% nationally, particularly in Ontario and in Alberta. Meanwhile, the profits keep going up. There's an article, Thomson World's Insurance News, from the summer of this year. They looked at the first half of the year where insurance profits and premiums, each of them, the ratio for premium earned to money paid out on claims all went up. So it is quite problematic. But, Jerry, you know, guess what? It doesn't stop here. What we have coming now in 2026 is a further elimination of rights of accident victims. We're going to what's called an opt-in approach for key benefits. One of the benefits, it's stayed at $400 a week since 1999, is income replacement benefits. You're in an accident, even if you're at fault and you can't work, you can prove you're disabled and do your job, you get up to $400 a week. That has been taken out of your policy starting in 2026 unless you request from your broker, hey, I'd like that income replacement benefit and I will have to now pay for it. So they're taking out education benefits for students, taking out funeral benefits, taking out death benefits. So what you're left with is a skeleton plan of limited medical rehabilitation and attendant care. How terrible is this, Jerry? You tell me.
Well, but I'm forced to have insurance.
It's a tax, right? This is the biggest problem we have. It is a tax. Now, it's something there's a tax. There ought to be fair regulation on it. So what regulates, the organization that regulates our insurance companies is FSRA, the Financial Regulatory Service Authority of Ontario. And they're the ones that approve these rate increases. But you know what, Jerry? Even in the height of the pandemic, 2020 to 21, they were still approving rate increases when nobody was on the road. So there's a bit of an issue we have with oversight, unfortunately. The other thing we have a big problem with in Ontario is this. Any dispute with your own insurer for, paying for your treatment, et cetera, goes before a tribunal called a licensed appeal tribunal. A study came out about 2 weeks ago or last week in Health, and it shows that, in fact, probably only this year, I think it was like 23, 24, 10% of the cases that go before them are decided in the insured person's favor. There's a limited number that's split, and the rest are decided in favor of insurance companies. So we have a real problem with our auto insurance regime here in Ontario. My advice, and I gave it to you last time, don't get in an accident because you're going to have trouble if you do.
Okay, I've got that memo. But we might remember that previous Premier, Kathleen Wynne, was going to do something about auto rates, and then she said...
We always knew it was a stretch goal.
Okay.
You know what she did? This Kathleen Wynne, from 2010 to 2017, there were such massive cuts to the auto insurance regime, 17 separate cuts. She brought in what's called a minor injury guideline, so that if you have injuries, unless you have broken bones, full tears, severe psychological injuries, all you get is $3,500 of treatment, even though you're paying for $65,000. She brought in, we always had a statutory deductible since the late 1990s, deductible to pain and suffering. You're injured, you get money for pain and suffering. The insurance company gets some of that. It used to be $30,000. She raised it to $36,000, and it goes up by inflation. Now it's over $46,000. So think about it. A court awards you money. You're negotiating a settlement for your injuries in a car accident. But guess what? The insurance company keeps $46,000. That's thank you to Kathleen Wynne on that one, Jerry.
All right, but so what you're telling us here, and I'm talking about the fact that insurance premiums have increased 12.2% just in the last year, and Nainesh Kotak is with me, founder of Kotak Personal Injury Law. So we're getting less for more.
Absolutely getting less for more. So I've got a couple of tips of advice here. Look at when your policy comes up for renewal as you get close to 26, and it'll come upon us. Talk to your broker that, listen, what do I need? If I get an accident, I can't work, well, maybe I need some money, right? Maybe I need to be paid. So maybe I should buy the income replacement benefits. Maybe I should buy funeral benefits if my loved one passes, is killed in an accident, I can't pay for the funeral. Maybe I should have those. It won't cost a lot. But what is completely unfair is that why are these benefits been taken away from us when they were part of our standard policy in the first place? The premiums will not go down. All it's going to do is feed the auto insurers so they make a little bit or a lot more money. And this is quite unfortunate.
All right. So people will say, sometimes I say, we need to open it up and bring in maybe more competition, some of the big companies from the United States, because I will compare rates and say, when I was living in Kansas City, here's what I paid for my insurance and what I have to pay now, how shocked I was when I moved back to Canada, what the rates were. And people say that's unfair because they have such a larger customer base in the United States, and that's why their rates are lower. Okay, let's get included in that big customer base.
I've always been a fan of competition, as no matter what area. I think there should be an open market. In my personal view, there should be. Keep in mind, with respect to the U.S. premiums, though, most of them would carry a very small liability policy limit. You go to Florida, you get in an accident, jury may award a huge amount of money. They tend to award way more than we do here. But guess what? That person has $20,000 of insurance or $50,000 insurance. You're not going to be able to collect. So one of the reasons they are cheaper is because they don't pay out very much at all, right? So it's if you cause an accident, you hurt somebody, you could lose your home type of thing. So that could be a factor. But 100%, I'm a person who agrees, whether it's telecommunications, it doesn't matter. Competition is healthy. It keeps everybody sharp on their game and how they conduct their business, and it also reduces prices. That's my personal view.
All right. So when I'm buying insurance, there's a level of insurance I have to have in order to be legal on the road. Should I stay to that bare minimum, or is that not smart?
Yeah. I don't think it's smart. Think about this. But let's say you're in an accident and it's a family of doctors, husband and wife, they're doctors, their kids are there, and there's an accident and now they God forbid, they're severely injured, they can't work, quadriplegic. Look at the risk would be, what are your limits, right? A lot of people carry $1 million. God forbid if you carry less than that, because you're really planning for that worst case scenario, right, where something could be worth a lot of money. It doesn't cost a lot to increase your liability limits, whether it's $2 million or have an umbrella policy with your home insurance to make it even higher. It's maybe $100 or so extra per year. So I would recommend that, you want to adequately protect yourself in the most severest of cases. And, it does happen. We have severe accidents that happen. We have fatalities and the income loss that the claim could be great for the surviving spouse, for example. So I always recommend don't just do the minimum for liability. It could be a big mistake, particularly if you have assets.
All right. Well, I mean, your advice to not get in an accident is nice and all, but, somebody else might hit me.
Yes, of course. I'm being facetious on it. And the reason I'm expressing this, it's sort of the frustration with the auto regime that we have these days and the continual cuts. The bias tribunal that we have to appear before. These things are very concerning to me. That when we fight for somebody's rights, it is awfully difficult to get the fair compensation for them because the deck is against us, basically.
Yeah, all of those people, including somebody like Jagmeet Singh, who want to attack the grocery stores and their profits, should be concentrating a lot harder on the insurance industry, I believe.
I think they used to. I think those guys, when they were in NDP in Ontario, I think they might have used to do that. But their ideas of a public system, I don't think would work very well either. All we need is more government insurance. Right?
Yeah,
That's all we need. So I think that those guys used to do that when they're in the province, but they weren't very helpful about it at all. You're right.
All right. That's Nainesh Kotak from Kotak Personal Injury Law. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
This is the iHeartRadio Talk Network.